Topic 12. Protection Mechanisms. Part 1. Introduction to Protection Mechanisms. Technical controls alone cannot secure an IT environment, but they are an essential part of the information security program. Managing the development and use of technical controls requires some knowledge and familiarity with the technology that enables them. Technical controls can enable policy enforcement where human behavior is difficult to regulate. This slide illustrates various levels of information security protection and controls in the sphere of security model. Access controls regulate the admission of users into trusted areas of the organization, both logical access to information systems and physical access to the organization's facilities. Access control encompasses 4 processes. First is obtaining the identity of the entity requesting access to a logical or physical area. This is called identification. Second is confirming the identity of the entity seeking access to a logical or physical area. This is called authentication. Third, determining which actions that entity can perform in that physical or logical area. This is called authorization. And fourth, documenting the activities of the authorized individual and systems. This is called accountability. A successful access control approach always incorporates all 4 of these elements. There are 3 types of authentication mechanisms. First is something a person knows, such as a password or passphrase. Second, something a person has, for example, a cryptographic token or smart card. Third, something a person can produce, such as fingerprints, palm prints, hand topography, hand geometry, retina and iris scans, or a voice or signature that is analyzed using pattern recognition. These characteristics can be assessed through the use of biometrics. The authentication mechanism, something a person knows, verifies the user's identity by means of a password, passphrase, or other unique code such as a PIN. The current industry best practice is for all passwords to have a minimum length of 10 characters and contain at least 1 uppercase character, 1 lowercase character, 1 number, and 1 system-accessible special character, which of course requires systems to be case-sensitive. These criteria are referred to as a password's complexity requirement. The passphrase and corresponding virtual password are an improvement over the standard password as they are based on an easily memorable phrase. There are a number of applications that can help users remember unique passphrases and passwords. This is a screenshot from eWallet from Ilium Software. This slide shows a table comparing the complexity of different lengths of password based on an estimated time to crack using an average 2015 era PC with an Intel i7 quad-core CPU performing at a little over 207 dry-stone billion instructions per second at 4 GHz. As you can see, a 16-character password is far more complex than an 8-character password. The authentication method something a person has makes use of a card, key, token, or some other item that the user or the system possesses. One example is a dumb card, such as an ATM card, with magnetic stripes containing the digital and often encrypted PIN against which user input is compared. Another example is the smart card, which contains an embedded computer chip that can verify and validate information in addition to PINs. Another device often used is the cryptographic token, a processor in a card that has a display. Tokens may be either synchronous or asynchronous. Something a person can produce takes advantage of something inherent about the user that is evaluated using biometrics. Fingerprint comparison, palm print comparison, hand geometry comparison, facial recognition, using either a photographic ID card or a digital camera, retinal print comparison of the person's actual retina to a stored image, and iris pattern comparison. Most of the technologies that scan human characteristics convert these images to obtain some form of minutiae, unique points of reference that are digitized and stored in an encrypted format. Among all possible biometrics, only 3 human characteristics are usually considered truly unique: fingerprints, retina of the eye, and iris of the eye. DNA or genetic authentication will be included in this category if it ever becomes a cost-effective and socially accepted technology. Biometric technologies are generally evaluated according to 3 basic criteria. First is the false reject rate, the percentage of authorized users who are denied access. Second is the false accept rate, the percentage of unauthorized users who are allowed access. And third is the crossover error rate, the point at which the number of false rejections equals the number of false acceptances. This slide shows a ranking of biometric effectiveness and acceptance based on the universality, uniqueness, permanence, collectability, performance, acceptability, and potential for circumvention.